Hello everyone and welcome to From the Heart Friday, session 115 with me, Jessica Brigden of DSP, Creative Cardiology. Welcome, happy Friday to you. I have some really cute, quick, simple cards for you today. We are going with a fall theme and you might be surprised we're actually doing a little bit of black and white and then adding in some of that color. So we will be using the Pattern Party Designer Series paper. This is actually a Hostess exclusive, so you can get this if you have an order in here of the US of $150 or more. You can purchase this for $18 and you get 48 12 by 12 sheets. So really great value there. Today we are going to be using the black and white pattern of these cute little fall leaves. So on each side you have a colored side and then on the other one you have a black and white pattern. So we'll be using two variations using this black and white leaf pattern. Hey Lori, hey Marianne, welcome, welcome. Yeah, so I've got some quick and simple cards. It's a Friday, week is winding down and it's been a little gloomy, but I think the sun is trying to come out. So thank you for joining me, and hopefully we can create our own sunshine here in the craft room and have a good time. Hey Janelle, how are you? Yes, so we are going to start out with some basic black cardstock, some basic white cardstock, and then our black and white leaf pattern. I'm going to pull in 4 different colors. So I've got my crushed curry, my old olive, my pumpkin pie, and my Cajun craze. I figure those are my 4 fall colors. And then I will also be using my sponge daubers here. So I've got a few of those ready to go. So if you have those, or if you have your blending brushes too, those would work great. All right, let's just get right into it. Flip the camera and we'll get started here. Hi Philomena, how are you? Thanks for joining. All right, so we are flipping right around here. I do have my October host code. There we go. Let's make sure we've got lots of light here. There we go. Okay, get our camera in gear. October host code is HZFHKU6X. If you'd like to place an order in my online store. All right, like I said, we are starting with basic black cardstock, some basic white, and then our black and white leaf pattern from the Pattern Party Designer Series paper. So this first one, very, very simple. We're going to fold our card base that's 5.5 by 8.5. Thank you so much, Philomena, for sharing. And if you're here live, great. Make sure you leave me comments and and share as well. And if you are watching the replay, or if you're over on YouTube watching the replay, make sure you like, subscribe, thumbs up, all of that good stuff there too. Okay, so for this one, I have cut our Pattern Party leaf pattern here to 4 by 5.25. So this is going to be our background. And I'm going to pull in just my scrap chipboard piece for good measure here, in case I get a little overzealous in my sponging. But I have 4 sponge daubers to match the 4 ink colors that we'll be using here. Hey Rachel, thank you so much. So like I said, we've got crushed curry, some old olive, pumpkin pie, and Cajun craze. And this is black and white, but I thought we'd add a little bit of color. So let's go in here and add some yellow. So what I'm going to do is actually just kind of daub randomly on some of these flowers. Now you could use your blending brushes, but I want it just a little more random. And because our background is black, it really doesn't matter if you have that circle daub, because nobody's really going to see that. So I'm just randomly going all over my background here with my finger daubers to create some different colors on here. So some of these you might need a little bit more. You can darken it, add a little more back in there if you want, but let's try to do this randomly. So we've got our crushed curry there. All right, let's come in and do the same thing with our Old Olive. All right. So when I'm using my sponge daubers, generally I don't have one for every individual color, but I'll have one that I'll use for my greens, one that I'll use for the yellows, one for kind of my oranges, one for reds, blues. You get the idea there. So you can actually rinse these out in between uses if you want to do that. And that way you don't have to worry about transferring color anywhere. But just kind of daub around in here. All right. Oh, I heard Ziggy in the background. I don't know if she was chasing a chipmunk or what, but I heard her just come flying in the house. One little cat, and she sounds like an elephant when she runs through that door. Okay, so looks like we've got lots of different color there. Okay, so I'm being careful to say that 5 times fast. Set my sponge daubers to the side so that I don't get them mixed up here. This black and white paper, this is the Pattern Party paper stack. This is in the annual catalog. It is a host exclusive, which just means that you have to have a qualifying order to be able to purchase it. So in the US, the qualifying order here, you can see from the little party chart, if you have an order or party here of $150, you'll get 10%. You'll get $15 in free product. And that means you can purchase the Pattern Party paper. So this is valid at $18. So if you had $15 in credits, you would be able to pay, you'd end up just paying $3 on the overage there. But it's really cool. It's a 48 sheet 12 by 12 stack. So tons of colors and patterns and all kinds of fun stuff. And yeah, one stack will last you a long, long time. So here we're going to come in with our pumpkin pie. All right, so we've got our, oops, I guess I did 2 oranges kind of close together there. Oh, well. All right, so we're just using our sponge daubers here to randomly apply some colors to these black and white leaves. And I wanted them to be more individual colored as opposed to like blocks of color, which is why I'm using the daubers and not my blending brushes, because I wanted to have a little bit more control over where this color landed. All right, so just kind of come in and see how it goes, and then you can always go back in and if you notice you've got any gaps or anything like that. So we started with our crushed curry, and then we went on to Old Olive. We did some pumpkin pie, and then we're going to come in with Cajun Craze because that's still kind of an orangey color, but it has a little bit more of a red, like a burnt orange tone to it. All right, so we're just kind of going all over. It's kind of fun. I mean, you could actually take the time and color each of these with your Stampin' blends with your actual markers. I just didn't really want to take that time. I thought this would be a little bit simpler to kind of come in here and just do some sponge daubing instead here. All right, so I can see we've got a few spots where I'm a little out of balance, you know, too many greens and yellows together, but that's okay. All right, and then don't forget to kind of come in off the edge and get some of these little pieces too. All right, so this is going to be a little bit inky, so it might be kind of handy to have a little paper towel or something close by. All right, let's see. I've got still a little bit of ink left on some of these, so we're coming here with some yellow. And then let's do a little green over here. All right, get some Cajun Craze in this one. And that's okay if they do kind of overlap a little bit, because it's kind of fun. Leaves aren't usually one solid color anyways. They're usually a combination of several different colors as they're changing here in the autumn season. All right, and again, don't forget the little pieces along the edge. All right, I think that's pretty cool. I like that. So when you've got it how you want it, hey Naomi, oh, Nemoni, yes. And Marissa, you guys let me know where you're from there. Some new visitors here on the channel, which is awesome. All right, so like I said, I'm just kind of rubbing this onto my scrap paper because I had a little bit of excess ink on here that I didn't totally want to transfer to my project. So we'll give that a little bit of time to absorb into that scrap paper below. You can see how it's rubbing off a little bit there. Okay, then we're gonna put this over here on our basic black cardstock piece. Okay. Now for the front, I'm doing a simple label with our Colors and Contours dies, the scalloped contours. So I used this one here. This is from the Scalloped Contours. And I die cut that with some basic black. And then I came in with the stitched rectangles. All right, and this is the third size. Okay, the third size up, which what I did is I kind of laid that over my die cut to see if it fit. And that gives me a nice stitched rectangle that fits perfectly within the stitched boundaries of that scalloped die below it there. Okay, so what we're gonna do is then take this white piece. Let me grab, let's go with the Memento Black here. Okay, so you really could use any sentiment, but I wanted something to kind of go right here in the center. Okay, so this sentiment I grabbed is from the Love of Leaves stamp set. This made its debut last fall, and it carried over to the annual catalog. And it is on page 115 of your annual catalog here. All right, and it does have a set of dies, the stitched leaves dies to coordinate with that as well. Okay, so that was our sentiment in the Tuxedo Black. We're going to adhere this to our basic black scalloped die here. I just love all things stitching. Really cute. All right, and then we'll pop that up with some dimensionals. I've got my basic black dimensionals here. So like I said, just kind of quick and simple. Taking some black and white paper here and adding some color with our sponge daubers. So I love that. You can make any color combination that you like that way. And then we'll just pop this on here in the front. I feel like it does need a little extra something, but for right now, let's go ahead and make sure we decorate the inside a little bit. So I've cut a panel. Because I used a black card base, you definitely want to line the inside of your card. So this is a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic white that I'll stick inside here. And then because I had cut my patterned paper here into 4-inch sections, I've got a 4-inch piece that'll fit right here along the bottom. Okay, so I had cut these to 4 by 6. You know, done the whole love it, chop it, and actually stored them. I use our clear envelopes. So I took a whole bunch of this paper, loved it, chopped it right down in here to the 4 by 6 sections, and then I can just choose whichever one I want. It's ready to go. So with this, I needed to cut this to 5 1/2. So I just trimmed that off and ended up with a little piece to use on the inside as well. All right, that's a nice way to keep your paper ready to go. So I kind of like the inside to match the outside there. So I'm going to take my finger daubers, and I really don't need to add any extra color. because these little daubers are already pretty saturated. So we're just going to come in here and use what's on them to add a little bit of color. Okay, I've got our Cajun craze here too. And this way we have cute decoration inside as well. Let's see, make this one yellow off the edge here. And a little pumpkin pie here. Okay, now that's cute. We can add a little strip of adhesive. And then this is ready to go right in here inside our card and coordinate, and ready for our sentiment. Yeah, so very, very quick and simple. Hey, Lori, glad you could join us too. Yeah. Okay, so Luann said she kind of missed the beginning. Yeah, she'll watch a replay on YouTube. The designer paper, this is the Pattern Party Host designer paper stack from the annual catalog. All right, and this was a black and white pattern, the leaf pattern that we have used our sponge daubers. Here we go, I've got our sponge daubers there to apply the color and make it anything you like. So I don't have anything prepped. I can see it would be cute to maybe add a couple of little leaves, you know, maybe individual leaves. I'm not going to take the time to fussy cut that right now, but that is definitely something that you could do. I think what I will do though, I pulled in some of the matte decorative dots. These are in the mini catalog, and we do have some crushed curry and some old olive on here. So these are kind of an ombre effect. So kind of pick, I think I want a middle color, and this works too, because if you end up transferring any of the ink from your fingers to to your project, then you can kind of modify that as well. So yeah, I think I'll just do a couple little dots of color on there to coordinate it. Sometimes simple is best, less is more. But again, if you wanted to totally dress it up, you could fussy cut a few leaves too. Aw, all right. So next card, like I said, we are kind of doing two variations on this. So I'm sticking with the basic black card base. Again, 5.5 by 8.5. This is just the other half sheet of the cardstock that we started with. Okay. Fold this. Luann says, yes, chamois works great to clean those inky fingers with. And that would be good if I had wet my chamois, but right now my chamois is pretty hard. So it's not going to clean much. I should have dampened that beforehand, but this I was good. I was pretty well prepped today, thinking ahead of time, but didn't anticipate that. Oh well. All right, so the next thing we're doing, again, I've got the second piece. Let me see here. I'm using my stitched leaves dies this time. Okay, so let me show you what I'm starting out with here. I'm starting out with a mess, that's for sure. Okay, so second piece of the black and white leaves. And again, trimmed it down to 4 by 5.25. This time I brought in the stitched leaves dies that coordinate with the Love of Leaves stamp set. All right, they're no longer bundled, so these are a la carte in the annual catalog. This time I chose, I wanted something as the focal point in the center of my card. So I used this fun little 5-petal leaf. I don't exactly know. It's not a maple leaf. I'm not sure what leaf this is. But I had put this in my Stampin' Cotton Emboss, run it through, and then I end up with this fun little pop out. Okay, so that looks okay, but again, it's black in the center, and I don't really, I mean, this is kind of cute, but I don't really want the rainbow leaves for this particular project. So what I did is grab just another scrap piece of white. This time I used, again, that stitched outline. But the cool thing with this die set is that you've also got these center stitching pieces that fit, so you can run them both through at the same time. Oh, Rachel's telling us this is a sycamore. All right, thank you. I'm glad somebody knew what that was. Here in my yard, we have mostly maple trees. We have some oak trees, black walnut. I don't have any sycamore trees around here. So that's why I don't know that one, but yeah, thank you. All right, so I ran both of those through, and then when you take this out, then you have this cool piece with this nice veining, this fun stitching on it, and you can see that the other leaves in this set, they've kind of fallen off my piece here, but you have a coordinating stitched outline and a coordinating stitched veining for each of the leaves here in this set, which is pretty cool. All right, so nice. I really like this set. I'm glad that's been carried over from last year. So if you had it from last year, then that's great. And if not, then you have a second chance. All right, so I thought this would be cool because this will pop right in there. But this time I thought, well, let's leave the outline black and white. Tricky, tricky. So we're going to apply our adhesive to this piece. All right, I'm going to put a little bit in the center here because I don't want it moving around on me. Okay, this is 4 by 5 1/4 again. All right, and this time bring in the scrap piece and our leaf here, and this time I am going to use my blending brushes because I don't want the little circles of color. On here, you really can't tell because of the black background, but on this white piece, I really don't want you to see that circular sponge dauber piece there. So we're going to use the blending brushes instead. Again, going with the same colors. So I'll just ink up some of this. I got some pumpkin pie. I thought that'd be kind of fun. We'll just kind of blend it across in sections. And let's do a little bit of Cajun Craze. I'm actually going to use the same brush here, the same color family. And again, you can actually take these to the sink and rinse them out too, if you want. So I'm just kind of rubbing this in here to smooth that transition between the pumpkin and the Cajun. A little bit there. All right, this time I am going to grab a new blending brush. This time I'm going to use, you can see where I washed, like, I don't even know what color. I think I had used like a purple ink on that one. So this one's clean, even though it's got a little staining on it. And I'm going to do, let's add in a little bit of yellow here, crushed curry. All right, and come in right across that. So we're blending from the pumpkin pie to the crushed curry there. And then we'll do a little bit of the old olive there on the ends. Oh, Luana's saying there's a movie called Sycamore Street. Or I guess it's a location in a movie. I will have to check that out. Oh, nice. Oh, okay. Checking out everybody's comments there. Thank you. All right, and so we're coming in here with a little bit of old olive at the end. Okay, so these leaf dies, Lori, this is the Love of Leaves stamp set, and it's the stitched leaves dies. So Love of Leaves with the stitched leaves dies. You can find both here on page 115. Okay, and so it'll say here, Love of Leaves, this is $18, coordinates with the stitched leaves dies on page 165. So if I turn there to the die section, Okay, they look a little funny. Oops, I knocked over a block. Look a little funny down here at the bottom of the page on 165. But what they're doing is, you don't actually get, they're not squares and rectangles. What they're trying to show you is the outline and then the stitched part. Okay, and then this long piece here is this neat edging. Actually, I've got a card here. I'm not sure who, let me see, who made this one? Aw. Okay, so a friend, Kathy, made this card. She sent it to me a year ago. That's why I was like, who made this? So you can see on the edge here where she used that long stitched piece. Isn't that cool? And then she stamped over it on the edges. And actually she used a very similar thing where she popped out this in the center. Isn't that cool? Yeah, really unique set. And I agree, but just looking at the catalog, it's very easy to overlook. But definitely worth taking a second glance at because they're pretty cool. And you do get all 5 different leaf shapes in here as well, which is pretty cool, and some nice sentiments as well. Yeah, and this is a photopolymer set. But so I could have stamped on here, but I wanted to have a nice blend of all of those colors. I want to go just a little bit darker here on the edges. So let me put a little more old olive on there. All right, so I think we have some nice bright color onto our leaf. This time, let's come in here with our white dimensionals. We'll put them on each leaf here. Actually, that's all we really need. We don't really need one down there in the center. All right, so we'll come in with all of these. Remove the scrap. And then, how cool is that? So we're popping it right in that die cut, but isn't that neat? That fun leaf that just like pops out of there, and that fun bright color. I love that. Now, if you wanted to, you could come in and do a little greeting across. I wanted something skinny, so I actually had a little baggie of die cuts. These are from the art gallery. The fine art floral dies here had these long, skinny sentiment pieces with kind of like a postage stamp edging. And it just turns out I had cut a bunch of extras and keep them in a little clear envelope there inside my case with those. So I pulled one of them out, and it's kind of torn on a sentiment. So I realize I'm pulling in a lot of different things here, but I thought I would just go with a thank you so much, just quick and simple. Oh, I feel like I gotta sneeze. All right, this time let's just go black and white. We'll kind of keep with that simple theme. So got my thank you so much. I'm going to attempt to stamp this on that little label somewhat straight. We'll see how I do. Oh, I'm a little too close to the top. So let's flip and let's try that again. Ah, that one came out good. Second time worked. That's why paper's always double-sided, so don't worry about that. Yes, so the oh, Wendy's saying that she always forgets the sentiments. The dies and things included with the other sets. I love my die cuts, and I love having dies for every little shape and size. Of course, I love anything with a stitching detail. I'm going to use some mini dimensionals on this. If you don't have minis, you can go ahead and use the edge pieces off your other dimensional sets there. But I thought that would be quick and cute just to go right across the front. Okay, so I don't want to cover the whole thing, but I think I'll just have it go right across the center. All right, and again, we'll add just a little bit of color with our matte decorative dots here. Let's go. Let's do another little piece there. Oh, you know what? I have 2 pieces here. Look at that. I must have die cut 2 layers of white at a time. So let me make sure I add dimensionals to the actual. Look at that. I got a bonus label. I do have a habit of doing that. If you have your scraps of white and you're die cutting, then oftentimes I'll just use up whatever sheet that I'm working with. Instead of throwing the extra scrap in my bin, I'll finish die cutting whatever I can from it. Let's go with a medium size. Let's go like right up here. And then we'll do a dark one as well. Yeah, kind of do something like that. Kind of randomly tying them here and there. Yeah, Rachel says she likes the idea of keeping some of the pre-cut die pieces. Exactly. So I can always, I already took the labels off of the little backing, so I'm just gonna peel the sticky part off. Yeah, okay. Peel that off, and now I can stick that back in my in my little baggie and still have it for another project there. All right, so again, because your card base is so dark, you do want to make sure you have an insert for this. So again, just your 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic white for the inside here. And then somewhere on this mess that I've made, I did have the other, I had the other little strip of leaf paper. Oh, here we go. All right, so this time I am going to keep it black and white instead of adding color, and we'll just put that little strip in the inside here. Let's not stick it to my desk. Okay, kind of line that right up at the edge. There we go. So now we have some fun pieces of interest on the inside as well. What do you think? Can you tell that these were made with exactly the same supplies? Basic black cardstock, the pattern party black and white leaf paper. Look how differently. Isn't that cool? Love that. And so yes, we did pull in a couple different sets. Oh, thank you, Marissa. Glad that you love incorporating all those things. So for the most part, we used the Love of Leaves stamp set along with the stitched leaves dies on here. I do have a tendency to pull in all things stitching, so you can't miss. We had our stitched rectangles on here, and then since it came out in this catalog, the scallop contours dies, those are also, yeah, must have because they coordinate so well together. And yeah, you never know. So it does help. I do feel like I have somewhat of a photographic memory when it comes to knowing the shapes and the sizes and things, but it does help that I keep my dies right in here with the stamp case. So if there is a coordinating set and if it fits, then it sticks right here in the case. If by chance the die set is a little bit too big and it doesn't fit in the case, when I do put them on my shelf, then I go ahead and put the dies right there with it. And at least I keep them together. And that is a memory aid for me, that there is a coordinating set of dies. Hey, Carmen, how are you? So glad that you were able to catch me here. Hope you are doing well. Aw. Yes, thank you. So yeah, definitely autumn. I think we are at the tail end of it. We've had quite a bit of rain here later in the latter part of this week. So the trees are starting to look a little bare. That rain is knocking those leaves off the trees, but fall, autumn, whatever you like to call it, is one of my favorite seasons, and I like to hold on to it as long as I can. So I hope you've enjoyed these projects, and we'll give it a try. Again, it's so much fun to take that black and white paper that can seem a little bit limiting and see how you can change it up and make it do whatever you need it to. So happy Friday, happy autumn to you, and I look forward to stamping with you again next week. All right, take care, everybody. Happy stamping. Bye-bye.